Working in Australia as an international student. The Australian government knows that cost of living pressures are affecting international students, like many Australians, the Australian Department of Education told Erudera. The work hours cap for student visa holders will be reinstated on July 1, 2023 and will be raised from its previous level of 40 hours per fortnight to 48 hours per fortnight. The minimum wage is 21.38 Australian dollars per hour. Multiply this by 48 and international students can theoretically make 1,026 Australian dollars and 24 cents per fortnight and 2,052 Australian dollars and 48 cents every 4 weeks. Previously, international graduates at the bachelor level were allowed to stay in the country for 2 years after completing their course, while master's students could stay for 3 years and PhD students were entitled to 4 years based on their visa. From July 2023, they can stay working in Australia for an additional 2 years on top of the existing time allowed. All of this makes working in Australia sound great, until you look at the statistics. Only 28% of international students exercise their post-study working rights and a mere 16% become permanent residents, according to the Australian Financial Review. Why are 3 out of 4 international students not working in Australia? It's a big question to unpack here. So let's start by looking at what are your rights to work in the country as an international student and graduate. 1. Before graduation. Under the old rules, you are allowed to work 40 hours per fortnight with a student visa. A work week in Australia is considered from Monday through to Sunday. As this law comes to an end on June 30th, new regulations will be implemented. This increases the work hour cap from 40 hours to 48 hours per fortnight. During semester breaks, international students can work an unlimited number of hours. It doesn't matter how you divide this time, you could work more hours for 1 week and less on the next. It's up to you, but you must not cross this restriction. If you want to work for longer periods of time, this is possible, just wait for your holiday period. A total of 48 hours may seem like a short period, but remember that the reason for your stay in Australia is to pursue your studies. These hours are put into place to ensure that you have enough time to dedicate to your coursework, exams, and program-related work. You're also guaranteed to earn at least a minimum rate of pay per hour, regardless of your job title. This is currently at 21 Australian dollars and 38 cents per hour. Some common industries for students include retail, supermarkets, department stores, boutiques, hospitality, cafes, bars, restaurants, delivery, farming and fruit picking, depending on the season, services, childcare, aged care and cleaning, administration and clerical work, tutoring. 2. After graduation. To stay and work in Australia once you've graduated, you'll need to apply for a temporary graduate visa, subclass 485, which costs 1,730 Australian dollars. The temporary graduate visa allows graduates to work in the country for up to 18 months. It is mainly catered to recent graduates with skills and qualifications relevant to specific occupations in Australia, such as agricultural engineer, carpenter, and cardiologist. It's best to check if you're eligible to apply for this visa. Here are some of the requirements. You must be below 50 years old. You hold an eligible visa. You have held a student visa for the last 6 months. You must provide evidence of adequate health insurance for all applicants when you apply. You must provide evidence you have applied for an AFP check when you apply. All international students are required to get a national police check, also known as a police certificate, police clearance certificate, criminal history check or criminal record check. You should achieve a minimum score in various English language proficiency tests. Starting in July, a 2-year work extension of post-study work right is available to international graduates on their temporary graduate visa, subclass 485. This will be an additional 2 years on top of the existing time allowed for those who stay and work in regional areas. While the Australian government has extended the temporary graduate visa, this policy change assumes that graduates are able to get jobs in the areas they studied. There are 4 reasons why getting more skilled international graduates into jobs requires more than just a visa extension. Up to 1/3 of international graduates who stay in Australia upon completing their studies are still unemployed 6 months after graduating. Full-time employment rates for international graduates are also consistently lower than for domestic graduates, 43% versus 68.9% in 2021. Securing well-paying jobs in occupations related to a student's field of study also takes time. Many students and graduates report they are taking jobs that are not related to what they have studied, and often for low wages. Even if international students with an undergraduate degree find full-time employment, studies show they earn 20% less than domestic graduates. International students can only work up to 48 hours per fortnight on a student visa. With COVID-19 and the push towards more online learning, work placements or internships have become scarce. Last year, many universities started to offer internships again, but some students completed their studies without practical workplace experience. What's more, very few international students have local networks to draw on for job opportunities. They also tend to be less familiar with Australian workplace contexts and cultures, a big reason why internships are a great avenue for students to get the experience they need to secure an ongoing job. Employers were hesitant to hire international graduates on temporary visas, according to a 2020 Deakin University report. Other research shows employers favor those with permanent residency because they see them as more likely to stay in Australia and are worth the investment in recruiting and training. Research has also found employers think international graduates will be more expensive to hire. They would require more on-the-job training to be able to understand Australian workplace cultures. Some mistakenly think language will be an issue, not realizing that all university graduates need to meet the minimum English language proficiency to gain entry into any university program.